Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of GenAI Vlog. This video is a part of the sequence of Gradio tutorial in the sense that we are introducing a sequence of different features that you can build on Gradio application. So in this particular episode, we're going to be diving into voice chat. So with that being said, let's start with this Colab notebook and let's start with a system diagram. So we're going to build two versions. The first one is voice in. And in terms of voice in, you can talk to it, and then you're going to see the conversations displayed on the user interface. The second one is voice in, voice out. So not only are you going to talk to it and see the conversation being displayed on the UI, you're also going to hear it talking back to you. So with that being said, let's start with the system diagram. This is the system diagram that's essentially written by Mermaid code. So let's start from the left-hand side. So user starts talking. When users start talking, there's a voice activity detection to basically trying to detect whether a speech starts. If it starts, then you want to hit the record button automatically. So you can record the speech and process it. So all this happens in the backend on the Gradio audio interface. So presumably, a user will continue to talk until a point that they stop. And of course, this stop is completely dependent on user. If the user take a pause that's very long, it might actually be mistaken by the algorithm that the user stops. So certainly, this is one of the potential caveat that edge cases might happen. But anyhow, the algorithm is designed this way just for a proof of concept. So presumably user stops talking sometime in the future. The algorithm then detects that the user stops talking and it will stop the recording button and then it will wrap that up. So once it validated that the audio input is ready, certainly hash it, right? And then it writes as a WAV file. So all the way here, we are essentially going from a backend to a temporary file system. And so once we are here, we have the WAV file, and you're like halfway done, right? So you take the WAV file, and then you want to transcribe it. So this arrow takes the WAV file and sends to Grock API. And here we're using the model Whisper. So once you are here, you make an API call, you're using the model Whisper, right? And then you're going to get something back from the API. So the things that you get back, it's a transcription response. So transcription response, obviously, you want to run a little bit of a validation, right? Because what if it's not speech? What if it's just music or some random noise? Then you want to be able to detect that. So there's a little bit of a no speech probability detection here. If it's greater than a threshold, such as 0.7, it will then detect it as speech. And only then will this transcripted text being sent through this loop for future execution for the large language model. So in this case, if and only if this speech probability exceeds 70%, will we then send into a historical message with the role to be user and content to be whatever the transcription is. And this arrow will take that history of conversation, sending into another API call, right? That is the conversation state. So this goes to the Anthropic API endpoint. So once you are here, you're essentially making an API call that generates some sort of a chat completion function using the Anthropic client. This you can think about it as a post API request with a model name to be call 3.5, something like that. And then the system can be whatever system prompt you want, right? So in this particular example, I think a default nutrition tracking, but you can call it whatever you want. So that chat completion function contains the full conversation history when you make that API call, and then you're going to get something back that is the next sentence based on this conversation history. And the next sentence, you can kind of think about that as assistant response. Assistant response obviously need to be appended to the historical conversation as assistant. That's the role. And the content is, of course, the response coming from the large language model. And then this arrow points to the session state or conversation state. So once the back and forth is finished, you can kind of think about this as one turn, right? One turn is referring to a message into the API call, you get something back, and then you append it to the history of the conversation. So some sort of like a question answer pair, right? You can think about this as one turn. Now, of course, sometimes it can fail. That's where this fail message is. But whatever the error is, you then add the error to the history of the conversation. Once you finish this small turn of a little bit of a question answer pair, now you can come back to the temporary file to delete the audio file. And then once you're here, you are all the way back to the app, right? That's the backend of the app. So that's happening on the backend. That's not done yet, right? That's not done yet. We got to go back to update the conversation state. And then once we do that, we hit the end of this sequence diagram, which is the Chatbot UI. And then obviously you want to display the messages on the chat interface so that user can see that. User can see that, the user can see the recording, user can see the conversations, so on and so forth. And that comes all the way back to the user and finishes this sequence diagram from left to right. So this is the global view. It's such a large graph that you can't even see these little fronts, but that's essentially the steps that we walk through, right? So if I zoom in on a high level, you can see that we start from the user start talking, hit the voice activation detection, go to audio interface. Now it goes into the backend, process the audio, right? Save a WAV file in the temporary file system, hit the Grock API to understand what the transcription is, get the text back, and then whatever text back sends into a large language model. In this case, it's Anthropic API Cloud. Update the conversation state, and then display that conversation on the Gradio Chatbot user interface. So this is the steps, right? This is the steps. And once on the user interface that the conversation is being updated, then all the way, the final arrow goes back to the user, and that's how user sees it, right? That's how user sees it. So that is a long answer to help you guys to understand the system. And then this way, it makes the entire user experience kind of like flow like water, and you want that experience to be as smooth as you can. And the heavy lifting is essentially happening on this couple of steps, right? This voice activity detection needs to be very robust, right? If you start talking, it detects it, record the audio. If not, stops the recording. So that's the algorithm, and that's how this is designed. Now let's go to the app to take a look at what's going on. So this is a link. Let's click on this. I'm going to say allow. Hi, can you help me with the math problem? So I'm curious about 1 plus 1 equals to 2. I thought the answer is 2, but someone said 1 plus 1 equals to 0. Can you help me understand that? So there you go. What I just demonstrated is a voice in chatbot. There's no voice out, right? So now we're going to go to voice out, and we're going to demonstrate the whole thing. The only small caveat that we're going to add is the text to speech. So as you guys saw that we have pretty much all the building blocks done. The only small feature that's going to be added to this is to use this package to create the audio file based on the response from large language model. And then we're going to use that to display the audio back. So this is the system diagram or sequence diagram for the voice in, voice out. So in the beginning, it follows the same fashion, right? You have a voice detection, you hit the voice app, it turns on recording. Once the user stops talking, it hits the on speech end algorithm, stops the recording, right? And then it takes this audio file, make an API call to Grock Whisper, get some sort of a transcription back, and the transcription then added to the message history, and then you send it to Anthropic Cloud API, and then you get some response back, right? So all the way to here, it's the same logic. It's the same logic. The only additional feature that we are going to do is to use Google Text-to-Speech API. So once you hit the Anthropic Claude and you get some response back, and obviously you want to go into your voice app and update the state, right? Meaning that you add the system message to the conversation history. Then what you're going to do is take that final response and send it to this function, text to speech, to generate some sort of audio file, right? So in this case, you can kind of think about it as a function that creates an audio file. You can think about it just as an MP3 file. And that MP3 file can then being played on the UI, right? So this arrow sends all the way to the audio browser. An audio browser can then be played. It will play the audio physically back to the user. So user will hear the response back. And then after that, you can clean things up in a temp file and then ready for the next iteration. And then the cycle continues until a user stops the app, right? So that's pretty much it, and that's how things go. Again, I still believe the heavy lifting is in the beginning, all the way to the end. It's pretty much a simple thing, right? Grock API, Anthropic Cloud API, text-to-speech API. They essentially have three magical functions here that pretty much stitch everything together. So with that being said, let's take a look at the new app, and it will be able to talk to us. We want to see how that look like. Hello, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm ready to help you with any questions or tasks you might have. How are you today?
So I don't understand the logic of Fibonacci number. Can you explain it to me like I'm a 15-year-old?
Sure. Let me explain the Fibonacci sequence in a simple way. The Fibonacci sequence is like a special pattern of numbers where each number is the sum of the two numbers that come before it. It starts with 0 and 1. Let's build it step by step. Asterisk start with 0, 1. Asterisk to get the next number. Add 0 plus 1 equals 1. Asterisk now we have 0, 1, 1. Asterisk next. Add 1 plus 1 equals 2.
So I think that's a good answer, but what about sometime in a long time in the future, right? Like what about 10's number down the road? What about 20's number down the road? What is the 25th Fibonacci number?
Ah, good question. Let me show you how to find those numbers. Here are the first 25 Fibonacci numbers in order. 1, 0, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, 5, 7, 8, 8, 13, 9, 21, 10, 34, 10th number, 11, 55, 12, 89, 13, 144, 14.
Got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions about math or any other topics, feel free to ask. Have a great day.
So there you go. You guys get the idea, right? So this way you're able to build an end-to-end voice chatbot. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like.